Good morning, y'all. I am just about done working on this hair. It's gonna take me another day or so to get it done. I'm gonna get it done like in small increments, but today is Sunday and I just got done doing my libations and work with Lilith, my mommy, and then also my other mama, Santa Muerta, of course. And I am up, but I am feeling so good that I am going to drift to sleep like a baby. Just feeling very protected, very loved, very taken care of. I feel like our divine feminine has a plan for us that is so strong that can't nobody touch it. Okay. So being that it is Sunday, um, it's a very triggering day because on Sunday, this is when men assimilate to the church so that they can worship a God that they don't really know. And it's triggering for me because I can feel something, and so I will be doing my burnings today. And then also around this time of the year, this was around the time that I found out that my unborn child, the baby, my angel baby, before I had conceived Jacob, um, was deceased. I was about 8 weeks along when the baby apparently passed away. Um, and I carried the baby for probably, like maybe an additional 4 to 6 weeks. And my suspicions was that the father had given me an anti-cancer drug. Um, he had it on his penis. We had gotten into a really bad argument, and I said some things that I shouldn't have said. And he came back to me and said, I prayed to Jesus that your baby dies on Christmas. Now, this was a baby that we had planned. This is a baby that I wanted. He claimed that he was a Mason. I can imagine that those men that are a part of like Masonic lodges or these secret societies, I feel like they have access to dangerous drugs that they get from nurses at hospitals and stuff. And so I felt like coming on here and talking about this, about why I despise most religious men and the weak women that flock to them. Um, is what I want to talk about today. Okay. So I think that like it's obvious with like my story and everything, how I had to go celibate for almost, man, like years to heal from a lot of different things. And so I'd be very careful if you're a man and you're messing with me because I'm not like most women. I do not like controlling, diabolical, disgusting men. I don't like you. I think that religion creates Munchausen syndrome for a lot of these men to where they are so controlling. They are so controlling and they are so diabolical and sneaky and conniving that they will do everything in their power to hurt you while pretending to love you. And these things can be very serious. So, and I want to talk about this because I want women to understand the nature of some of these men, which really is not connected to nature. It's not, okay? Not the nature of a man. More like something that you just don't want nothing to do with. And so, you know, I think that men have proven themselves to be terrorists to a lot of us. And I think that they need to be careful because these are the signs of the times. Now, a lot of the older generation, especially the men my age, oh my God, when I look the way that they turned out, they hate our sons that we are raising to be better than that. They have a hatred for our sons that are not tainted the way that they are. When you look at, now I'm not saying that it's just older men because there's stories of younger men that are just as bad. But I think that the one thing that I want a lot of y'all to understand is that if you have a woman, because there are a lot of women that are misogynists as well, and that woman is doing work on you and she's doing destruction work for your relationship to be destroyed. I think that we have to be very careful. We have to be very specific when we are being guided by spirit. I'm gonna give y'all a couple of examples. One of them is more is it's a movie reference, okay? And it's Poltergeist. And if you guys remember in the movie Poltergeist, Stephen had gotten possessed and flipped out on oh, I can't remember her name, the lady in the movie. And then the newer version of Amityville Horror, you know, when they moved to the house and that man became possessed and he was after her and was basically trying to hurt her children, was trying to kill her and her children. And she knew this. And so instead of killing him, she busted him in the head with a shovel and pretty much got on the boat. And she figured out that he was okay as long as he was away from that house. You know, it says a lot though, because I think that if men actually had protection from evil spirits, those series of events would never play out. But they don't actually have protection from evil spirits. That's why they do so much evil. I am very, very careful. My spirits are very, very careful when I come across men. The reason why is because it depends on where you came from. More than likely, if you had a controlling father that was very controlling and diabolical, and oh, you're a woman, you're not supposed to do this. I know that my mother told me years ago that my father was trying to stop her from buying her house. Absolutely disgusting. I am totally disgusted by my father's behavior. Anybody that models after him, any man that tries to control me regrets it seriously. Any man that tries to control me, because I'm not playing those games. And I don't attack women at the bequest of men. I don't do that because I'm better than that. There's a lot of women that are so desperate for the approval of men that they will forsake their own sisters. It's so sad. And usually for you to be male friendly, okay? A lot of men love to flock to women that are willing to throw a woman or a child under the bus. I was getting some uploads from Lilith, and she was telling me, you know, she said, you know, even though Lilith does understand abortion, and she is actually the mother of those aborted children. She actually keeps the souls of those children. She understands when women do it, but she said that men invented abortion. And you know what? It is so sick, the world that we live in. It is like, when I think about the world that men have been allowed to create and the fact that terror and murder, being terrorized, murdered for centuries, has been the way that they have kept this cycle of hatred and death and pain, you know, pain. And when you think about how it feels to be a mother that has lost her child, I went through pregnancy loss because I believe that the Father gave me some kind of concoction. When I think about the nurses that are sitting in those hospitals boosting these anti-cancer drugs, you better think about it. You dealing with some of these men, they know nurses. These nurses will push pills to them. These nurses will provide them with abortion drugs. The anti-cancer drug that I know for a fact that I was given, because all of my fucking hair fell out, okay? The anti-cancer drug that I was given is actually meant for people that have tubal pregnancies. And it killed my baby at about 8.5 weeks. And that was the most painful experience that I had ever went through. In fact, I know that it was the Divine Mother that got me through it, because I was a mess. I was suicidal. I was sad. I was depressed. It was awful. I did, however, manage to still work. I was even vlogging. I wish I could bring that channel back so that we could actually look back. And it just really sucks, because right after that, when I started to try to conceive Jacob, the whole internet knew the story. And then I began to get stalked so that I could be victimized even more. And, since then, I have transmuted that hate to love. I have transmuted that anger to patience and peace and harmony within myself. But there is this spirit. There are thousands of spirits. I'm going to tell you something. Every single day that somebody sends you through torment and hell, a spirit is created. And when you add 365 days out of a year, maybe divided in half, times 10 years, 12 years, oh, you're going to have thousands of spirits that belong to you that are going to be created to attack those people. And you better believe that you better invoke them. You better invoke them, spend them spirits are working for you. And the Divine Mother creates those spirits for you. Okay? Because not only did I go through, because back then, guys, I was vlogging, I was doing family vlogs, and I was also doing hair videos. And there was some sick people on the internet that decided that they were going to attack me. And so what I had went through was cyberbullying and harassment and stalking started back then, actually. It actually got started by a troll, I call her a troll, named Yolanda, who still shows up in that sector. I remember her face, and my spirits are going to continuously attack her and tear her life apart. What I went through by these so-called women was the most disgusting thing that you could ever send a woman through. And as a woman, I would never. I don't respect or care about nor forgive any of them. If they want forgiveness, they're going to have to go and ask their gods. But don't you ever attack me. It's awful, horrible. And it's led to 10 plus years later with these women still stalking me. It is the most disgusting thing, vile thing. Sometimes women get abused by women, but sometimes they get abused by men and they turn into those men. They do. They start carrying on the characteristics. What I hate more than anything, though, going back to what I was talking about, yeah, they stalked me and my angel baby. My Jacob is considered to be my angel baby. He is the child that I had directly after that miscarriage. It doesn't make him more special than my other children. It doesn't. But it just, all my children are special, but it's just what they call them. And then they said, oh, she got pregnant with her angel baby, and we're going to stalk her and her baby and try to take away everything that she loves in this world. So it's not just men that are evil, women can be evil too. They typically are the type of women that I wouldn't call them a witch. Oh, goodness. If they only knew witches, you know. Witches don't do things like that. You know, traditionally, we were midwives. We were the helpers of women. We don't do stuff like that traditionally. A lot of these witches that run around here and attack women that have done nothing to them, they are something else other than a witch. So, you know, to me, they're just walking corpses, in my humble opinion. Going back to men that encourage and empower this type of energy, the controlling, insecure nature of the man. If you ever think that you are going to override the divine feminine, especially Lilith, you might as well bend your ass over and kiss your own ass goodbye. And that's the reality. Stop trying it. And a lot of these men are sick. They're clinically sick. You know, when they see that you are safe and secure, they don't want you to have that. They want you at the welfare line. They want you codependent on them. They want you doing worse than them. They want you hurt. They want you harmed. And especially in the black community, black men are awful, but I've heard of plenty of white men that are the same exact way. And I'm going to tell you something. You don't own nothing. You don't own the ground that you walk on. God, the God of this planet, is factually a woman. Okay. And it doesn't matter, these confused women out here. You don't know a woman until you know a woman. I think that the Divine Mother is simply saying that she's going to protect her valuable, cherished women. It's replayed over and over and over again in history. And right now, we are dealing with this war over there in Palestine and then also in Russia. A lot of these men in this world are sick. They kill babies and kill women and kill innocent people just for control. Control that they actually don't have. So then that's why they create false things, you know, so that they can scare people. You know, it's pretty disgusting. I'm going to tell you that, you know, oh, goodness. You know, so The queen of hell is a woman, just by the way. And Satan bows to a woman. And I was explaining that in the earlier video. They don't like the truth. The truth hurts them. But when they're being drugged down to hell, or when they see their spirit floating above their bodies, they're going to know then, aren't they? And I think it's totally preposterous. And we all know what I'm talking about. We all know the stupidity of, like, seriously. You know, let's go back to Ma Barker. Now, Ma Barker lived that karmic life, right? She did. She was a bank robber. She kidnapped a couple of people for that bread. She was a bad person. She was a bad bitch, right? She was badass. But the one thing about Ma Barker, which is why she lived so long, was because she loved her children. And she was a very loving person. She is actually a revolutionary type of person because she made people question why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. So her existence was very important. She created so much. She was the start of so much support for women, support for poor families, support. She was. She is a divine feminine, in my opinion. Yes, she did hurt people. And she paid for it because at the end of her life, she had to watch her son get shot. Freddie got shot first, and then she got shot last. Okay. So she paid for it because that was painful, right? But when you think about it, what produced Ma Barker? Was it her father and her brothers that raped her? Was it the fact that her father drove her mother into an early death? So you got to understand that the evils of men, even though you hear about so much evil that they do, you better believe that it would be much worse and that they simply fall under the radar. And it's so sad. Now some of these men, they not going to murder you or anything or rape you, but they will do certain things to destroy your jobs and things of that nature. That's still Munchausen. You're committing fraud and you're hurting the woman. You're committing financial abuse every single time a man comes on here, or a woman, and says anything demeaning about me. They are committing financial abuse. See, I'm not on here showcasing photographs of people, you know, uh, dropping people's documents, releasing people's personal information. The addresses that I release, people already knew. So whatever. But I'm not doing that. Um, but they are. But yet they think that they are justified in what they've been doing, and they're not. And so I want you guys to know the difference between the two. You should know the difference. It's very difficult for people to really understand that, because bad people like to paint a picture and they like to be manipulative. But in reality, what I do is different. I come on here, I do my readings. They want to harass me while I'm doing that. I do my spells. They want to harass me while I'm doing that. But I'm not trying to make a living, or I'm not trying to come on here and mess with anybody like that. But that's what they did to me. Please know the difference. Please understand that those people will get drugged to hell. Please understand that Santa Marta will give them nightmares while they are awake and sleeping. Right. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know about the story of Eileen Warnos and how she, before she was executed, she actually took responsibility for what she did. So yeah, she's all right with me. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, this world produces crazy women. You know what I'm saying? And you just got to not let it drive you crazy. But it's the fact that they almost hunt you, hunt you, hunt you, or they try to. They never stop. Can they change? Is it up to us to change them? Really? I guess, Santa Martha has her opinion about it. But here's the thing about that, though. Um, that's one of the reasons why Kevin Samuels died the way that he did. And people thought women were evil. Oh, you laughing at that man because he died and you don't care about him? Well, it was the fact that he was a misogynist, and it was the fact that he degraded women, and it was the fact that he actually said that most women are going to die alone, and as if we gave a shit. So, like, we were supposed to go along with this older male profile, this bullshit, in order to have a man. I'd rather be alone. Most women would rather be alone than be with a man like that. If you can't, and then these men that have a problem with witches, I'm going to tell you why they have a problem with you. They have a problem with you because you are standing in your power. That's why they have a problem with you. And it's a lot of them that have a problem with me. And I don't want to say it's effeminate, but it is effeminate because why are you a man competing with a woman like that? That just like and I don't understand it. It's almost like you're not dealing with men at all. What are you dealing with? Are you possessed or what's wrong with you? Why are you a male competing with a woman? That's just like a man saying to a woman that just gave birth or had a C-section, "Hey, look, I can see that you just gave birth and had a C-section. I'm getting ready to run 5 miles. Can you do it?" It's like they're totally stupid. Like, what is wrong with you? And it's gotten worse. And it's gotten worse. And see, when they come on YouTube with that bull crap, they don't even realize how many people are looking at them like, yeah, looking at them like, ew. You go and look at those videos where they're talking about men killing women, and you're going to find a lot of people saying the same thing. So they're terribly outnumbered. They are. They're terribly outnumbered. And what they need to do is stop trying to convert women to Christianity, stop trying to take our power, stop trying to do harm to us to prove that you're a man, because that doesn't make you a man. So they will do things to us because this is supposed to prove that they're a man. This is going to prove their manhood. And you see women mimicking them. And it's like, well, you're a woman. Why? What are you proving your manhood or something? Like, what, why are you attacking another woman? And it's totally ridiculous. So this is the reason why I am in support of women. And honestly, they don't want women to have money because they know that when women have money, we're going to donate to the domestic abuse and violence shelters. We're going to donate to those shelters. We're going to create those shelters for those women. We're going to create a safe haven for these women that are being beaten. And then they'll say, oh, well, that's because you got a foul mouth. Oh, trust me, I used to be in a relationship with a man where I barely spoke a word and he would beat my ass. So a lot of those women are very quiet because and for them to say, oh well, I wish that you would, well, this ain't the time or the place for me to shut the fuck up because I have to stand in my position. So I'm a 46-year-old grown woman. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did, Rozelle Tillwater. And you know what I noticed? I notice that a lot of the women that are being murdered, they're being murdered by their significant others and their partners and their husbands and ex-husbands because these women either start businesses or either they're very successful in their career and these men will kill you. And you have to be careful out there. So while a lot of these women are out here trying to make it seem like you got to be validated by a man, people that really know what's really going on, because the statistics are alarming. The statistics are 911. They are. They are alarming with these men because they are killing women left and right because they're insecurity, because they want to control. For some reason, they have a need for control. And the problem is that they're not supposed to have control. And a lot of these women are very loyal, would never cheat on them. So, but I mean, would you be within your right to murder a woman just because she cheated on you? I mean, come on now. Like, it's so much dysfunction. It's so, like, it's absolutely ridiculous. They feel like they have the right to murder you if you leave them. And it's so bizarre. And they think that this is healthy. There's all sorts of red flags going off, and they think it's okay, and they think that they can just get away with it. Yeah. There was a story recently in Baltimore where this guy was sentenced to 30 years in prison in 2015, was released early for good behavior. And then he went and murdered a woman who was a business owner of a tech company in Baltimore. Wow. Yep. That right there. That right there. It is absolutely, yeah. He was convicted of a serious sex crime and they let him out, and then he murdered this innocent woman. Yeah. I think that it's really terrible the way that some of those men that get out of prison, they usually do something worse to go back to prison. They let them out of prison. I think that men that commit sex crimes should absolutely be watched very closely, and they are being watched. They actually have a program uh set up in some cities and some states where they have hired people to watch them. I saw this video on TED TV, and you know what those men do in return for that? They go and they stalk her because they know they're being watched. They need to be watched, especially if they are running around talking crazy to people. Now, what happened to Kiki Palmer? I saw her on Insta, and I know she's going through some things, but see, the thing of it is that when you're going through an abusive relationship with a man, a lot of us women, when we present ourselves publicly, we need to, have ourselves together. And and really, to be honest with you, it's not even just a presentation, but you have to have that strength. You have to have that strength. But also, a lot of us, Kiki Palmer, she can't stop working. She can't go into hiding. A lot of these men think, oh, if I do something, to do this or do that, you just gonna run away. And a lot of them really do that. So it's really a bad situation. Yeah. The only reason, okay. Oh, please. They're not. Yeah, right. Yeah. That man, Darius, that she recently got involved with and had a baby with, he has flipped out on her and started sending her terroristic threats. Wow. Wow. Oh my God. Well, she did the right thing with the restraining order, getting it on paper and filing for full custody of the baby. And she better start doing that work because a restraining order. Know how many women get restraining orders, and stuff still happens, but I'm pretty sure that she has plenty to probably afford a armed guard or something, a bodyguard. Yeah, he's beating on her. Wow. It is. It's just a piece of paper, but at least it's on paper. Wow. That's so sad. Men that beat women, they really need to check themselves. They really do. But see, when you think about men, especially the black men will kill somebody over something that they said. So they're very sensitive to words. They are, but they need to realize that, when learn how to deal with life. So that's why they create death, because they can't deal with life. Blaming the white man is no longer going to suffice it. That's what they always do. They somehow have to blame slavery. Yeah, we're not going to, like, I'm sorry, sir, you can't blame slavery anymore. I hate that. Also, to your point, Kiki Palmer's mother went to this dude's brother and said, "Your brother is beating on my daughter and abusing her." And the brother said, "Well, that's okay. I used to be on my woman." Wow. Just ignorant as shit. That is like the most lowest of the vile. And I don't think woman beaters quite understand that you are at the bottom of the totem pole. And that doesn't make you a man. It doesn't. Abusing, beating, verbally abusing, uh, you know, being controlling to a woman does not make you a man. It makes you a monster. And is that okay to be a monster? No. A monster is typically considered to be inhuman. You're inhuman. You're not a man. But some of them come from a long line of woman beaters. They do. They see their grandpa doing it. They see they daddies doing it. Which is why it's very important for a woman that is in an abusive relationship to get the hell up out of it, so them kids won't see it, because it'll be normalized. I don't give a shit what society says. Gawk at me, make fun of me. Oh, you're a single mother. You goddamn right. That's what made me a single mother, being strong enough to leave an abusive partner. I have been in that situation to where I had a swollen lip, swollen eye. I have been in a situation at the Linden Hills apartments and townhomes years ago. And my eye was swollen, my lip was swollen, and this man had put his hands on me. Keep your goddamn hands off of women. I don't care if she's willing to forgive you. If you can't keep your hands off of a woman, get the hell away from her. Okay? Keep your goddamn hands off of women. That's disgusting. You are a low life. You are. Okay? You're not a man. You're not a thug. You're a loser. Yeah. Keep your and you know what? No, they don't. They don't. And we do know, like they'll, like, you can tell that it's a woman beater because they'll talk about hitting women, and then they'll say, well, there's women that are abusive too. And I totally understand that. But coming from a place of a woman that is a hopeless romantic, I've been in situations to where I was literally being verbally assassinated and abused, and I had to stand up and say something. Because at first, when I was in the situation, I was like, oh, please pray for us or whatever. And we try. No, let me tell you something. Listen, it just, you got to keep it a buck. I don't, a lot of us in the spiritual community, we can say, well, so and so is sending some bad energy. Well, that man needs to learn how to deal with it. People gonna always send you bad energy. People gonna always talk shit. Learn how to deal with it. And I think that it's terrible because a lot of these men really, they don't have the strength of the mind, but they have it in their fists. And then if they do have the strength of the mind, they're usually using that against women as well. That man, this Darius and Kiki, he was someone who probably would be part of the manosphere because he looks like that type, just the energy from him. Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? I despise men like that. I do. Honestly, and um if you are with a man that just like is like that, if it doesn't get any better, like not beating you, if a man puts his hands on you, it's over. That's it. Okay? I know we all saw Baby Boy when Yvette jumped on what was his name? Jody's back, and he hollered off and snapped and hit her. That's a movie. You don't put your goddamn hands on no woman. Now, if a woman is welling a knife at you, getting ready to stab you or some shit, then hey, I can understand that shit. But if as a man, if you're in a volatile relationship with a woman, usually she's volatile because she's trying to stay with you. She's trying to make it work. However, what you're doing is you're making it difficult for her to leave, even though she probably has said, hey, this is toxic. We need to leave each other alone. And then you're making it impossible for her to leave. A lot of these men will do that. If they truly had control, that's how you can tell they don't have control over the situation, because they continue the abuse and the cycle of abuse continues. And even when you're a woman that just literally you're like, listen, I'm just trying to raise my family. I have an instinct as a woman to make sure that my children are well taken care of. Just leave me alone. Please just stop and leave me alone, and let me do my job as a woman. And they just keep going and keep going and keep going. They become very obsessive about it. It's okay. It's okay. I understand. Yeah, it's very triggering, the topic that I'm talking about. Um, and I think the reason why this is coming up on Sunday for me is because, these men, a lot of them are Christian and got the nerve to be judgmental of witches. They got a lot of nerve. I think it's preposterous. And it's almost like you're dealing with somebody that don't have any logic. Came out and called false arrest with Donna Mills. She was married to a man named Ron, and this was based on a true story, and he framed her for a double murder hit. Wow. Yeah, men will do terrible things. They will, and this is a time where I'm very, very, I'm like a hot patootie. I listen, and I'm just saying, don't do it, because let me tell you something. This is a time that I went through. I was pregnant around this time with my um no, Jacob is my rainbow baby. The baby that I lost is the angel baby. I was pregnant with my angel baby at the time. And it's just so much like, I'm not the type of person to get angry and lash out and stab somebody or shoot somebody. No, but I will curse you. The holidays are especially sensitive for me. Oh my God. Because this is the time I found out. Actually, I found out that the baby was deceased. I was pregnant around this time, and I found out that the baby was deceased in January. So yeah, I had went through Christmas carrying a deceased child. I went through the holidays carrying a deceased child. Well, I think the baby did die around Christmas. I think that how he did it was he had something on his penis, and I'm kind of embarrassed to talk about how I knew it, but I tasted it. It was a very metallic-y, medicine-y, just like because he tricked me that way because I thought that he wanted to make up. I was very hormonal. I had simply gotten upset with him because he didn't bring me some damn Taco Bell. I cussed him out. He called me the next day and told me that he prayed to Jesus, that my baby died on Christmas. And then, of course, he's my baby daddy, and I forgave him and he played me. So I'm especially sensitive about things like that. I am especially sensitive about things like that. That was like the worst time of my life. And no, I did not trap him. We planned that baby. Yeah, we did. And he decided to create death in my womb. And I don't like that. And you know what? Y'all ladies got to be careful. Because if you wondering why your hair falling out, why you can't grow no hair, these men might be slipping you something. And I don't trust them. I don't. Don't play with me. Do not play with me. The holidays are an especially peaceful and happy time for me. Right now, I'm dealing with a lot. Two court cases right now. I'm dealing with a lot. I like to warn people because I don't want people to think I'm evil. But my spirits can be very evil. They can be. They ready to break bones and they ready to shed. They ready for bloodshed. They are tired of it because you're messing with the balance also. You're messing with the balance. These people that decided, oh, I want to stop her career. I want to shut down her business. You gonna shut down your business. You gonna shut down your life. You not gonna shut me down. Okay? And then also with these men running around here with this stupid crap talking about witches and all that. Listen, go take your fairy tales and go on down the road. You don't know anything about witches. You don't know anything about this witch and what I do. Now, unless we gonna go back to the burning and hanging times. Because listen, the everyday, the constant, because even if you're not on YouTube talking about me, I see everything. When the people, my spirits is watching you. You can't watch me. Watch me for what? I don't care about you. So I'm not watching you. My spirits will watch everything that you do and they know what you're doing. So don't do it. Quit throwing stuff at me. I can tell. These people, they just keep doing it. I don't know if they trying my spirits. I don't know what they doing, but it's these men and these weak willed women that are so desperate, desperate for the approval of a man that they would continuously attack. And then when women do that, also, it's usually because of insecurity as well. Right. Oh God. Yeah. And this whole witch hunting thing, you need to go back to what time did that exist when they did that with the 1807? You need to take your ass back to during them times. Whatever times this whole witch hunting thing, you better think twice. And you try to educate them, they don't want to listen. It's like their ears is clogged up. And then they'll claim that their God told them to do that. But in reality, nobody can judge anybody but God. And that's why those men were cursed. It wasn't even really the witches that did it. All of those men that murdered all those witches and women and their children, let me tell you something. It was God Himself. It was your God Himself that murdered you. Those women didn't have to lift a finger. They murdered your villages, they cursed your families. And you know what? If you continue this crap, because a lot of us witches, we just assimilate, and what we're doing is not hurting them. That doesn't harm you. What hurts them is when they see us actually helping people, healing people, and then running our businesses and being successful at it. That's what bothers them. And see, they done started an all-out war that they cannot finish. And your hatred is usually aimed at a black woman, coincidentally. Yeah. You know what? When it comes to Yahweh, I think that God is over the heads of a lot of these men, but that God is not gonna force them because that God gave them free will. So, and I think that it's inherent in them. I think that they try to use God as an excuse, but that's not an excuse for what you're doing. And this planet, this land belongs to the witches as well. And just because you want to act like a child playing Monopoly, just because you want to act like a child in the sandbox, don't mean that it's gonna fly. Okay. We got witches all over the world, people that don't come. They not on here. Right. They act like it belongs to them, the whole earth, the water, the food, the land. That's really why they don't want us buying houses. Because if we buy a house, that means that we own that land. They don't want us buying houses. They want us to be renters on Section 8, on welfare, doing dirtball bad. Not saying that women like that are doing dirtball bad, but I'm just saying that's how they want us. Okay. But it's going to be a time where those women that we inspire to buy their houses, they're going to really appreciate us because you ain't safe renting. Your landlord could be a vampire. Your landlord could be a psychic vampire. Your landlord could be a parasite. So, your landlord could literally be a bad person. They can be a devil. They can be a demon. And they think that if they own that property, they own everything in it, including you and your soul. Yeah. So that's why it's important for y'all to listen to the witches when we tell you to buy a home. You should be striving for that. Nobody should be planning on being on Section 8 the rest of their lives. I mean, I was looking at some houses in my hometown, hell, even some here. You can buy a house you can buy a house that's 400 a month. You can buy a little house and you own it. See, that's what they want. And see, they tried to use me as an example, but I ain't the right one to use as an example. Okay? Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, it's getting disgusting. And the fact that okay, we know that this is going on in social media, but it's also going on outside of social media. Hence Shaquilla Robinson. Okay, hence Shanquilla. Okay. So, and I'm gonna tell you something. So, a lot of those women, and a lot of women have been scared away. They're very scared of witchcraft, but that's really the only thing protecting you. I mean, and when you see women that are about that, and these women are okay with these women that are about that, you better believe that you just have nothing but a deep-seated self-hatred following around women that have an obvious hatred for women based upon their gender. It really honestly speaks volumes. I mean, I'm absolutely disgusted by these so-called women out here, that are okay with the terrorizing, the stalking, the harassment, the slander. I'm absolutely disgusted, and they don't do it because they have to. They do it because they want to. Yeah. They don't want us to own anything. They want us to be up under their umbrella. Yep. And their rules, just like this management company that owns my building, they let anything. Yep. They allow someone to get assaulted. You know what, Roselle? I actually just experienced something like that. I'm not going to talk about it because it's somebody else's personal business. But yeah, landlords will often think that they're God. And that's why the law has created laws to protect tenants too. You just got to speak up. Mm-hmm. Yep. They allowed someone to get assaulted in my building, a woman and the man that did it, they allowed him to move in with his girlfriend anyway. Wow. Oh, honey. Yeah. Buy you know what? I'm actually doing work for Yule, for home manifestation, for home buying manifestation for my group. Yeah, it's very important to own your home. But see, they've tried to give us the message that even if you do own your home, they're going by a very specific program. You can tell. And so they've let us know, hey, if you well buy a house, we're gonna look for you, we're gonna find you if you buy your house. Well, that's if you're still here. Because I don't think people like that deserve to breathe. They'll say, "Oh, well, I, it's a material thing." No, it's called people's safety and security that you're violating. Everybody knows that if you purchase a home, you're definitely going to be more secure, more stable. A lot of these landlords, they ain't no good. Section 8 is not anything that women should want to be on because Section 8 landlords, depending on who it is, especially if they done messed up your credit or your credit done got messed up because they stalk you at work and you got something going on, these private landlords, they will do disgusting things to their tenants. They will. Wow. That's just, oh my God. So she has to actually see the people that assaulted her. Wow. Yeah, that's just so sad. It really is. And we need to start protecting our elderly people because, especially the ones that are, because, some of these elderly people, they doing the most. But, elderly people, children, and women, these animals, these monsters are just attacking. I'm not the type of person that's going to come on here and tell people what they want to hear. I realized that during slavery, I think that they said that Black people were only a fourth of a human, and that's pretty bad. And we know that that's not the truth, but why are they now acting like they're not human at all? You know? So they always bring up slavery, but what does slavery have to do with your current behavior? And then they tried to take over my channel as if they were going to normalize this type of, this type of crap. And so they'll come over here, they'll approve of some of my lives, and then you can tell, because they blacklisted this channel, tried to corner my channel, but at the end of the day, I'm still gonna say what I need to say, and it's still gonna have the same outcome, you know. No, you're good. No, you're good. You don't need to apologize, sweetie. Yeah. Oh God, yeah. And I think that they just created new laws in Georgia, and a lot of these judges are purposely trying to, because people, they just done got greedy, and they will just they wanna, but they just created a law in Georgia that can land a landlord in jail. They, with fines. They just created that because there are Georgia is a hot spot for slumlords. Yeah, they're a hot spot for them, and they and a lot of people don't understand, and you can't bring this up in court, but I still think that they kind of know it, but you can't really bring this up in court, that like some of them are doing spiritual work on their tenants. Yeah. And I'm talking about parasiting off of their tenants. Okay. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful when you're dealing with landlords. And you know what? Renting a house shouldn't ruin your life. It shouldn't ruin your credit. A lot of people, especially my age, we rent temporarily because we plan on buying a house, and these landlords will try to ruin that for you. They will. And it's so sad. It really is. And there's been cases of landlords stalking their tenants. And you know what? When you see, like, when you go to videos, like law videos where there's attorneys talking about it, you'll see people in the comment section, or like, how you see those Reddit articles and stuff, or it's like threads and stuff, and these landlords, they are speaking as though they're just trying to ruin their tenants. It's almost like they have Munchausen by proxy, and they just don't care. That's why I would hit them up with every possible thing you can do. Call building codes on them if they not up to code. Make sure that you are taking pictures and that you are keeping track of all of that. A good landlord is a good landlord is a good landlord. A bad one is a bad one. Mm-hmm. Yep. So we had a female manager. Everything was okay, but as soon as they replaced the female manager with an African man, the building went down. Wow. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. you know, I could see these landlords running around here threatening people. And see, that's why I think that a person that has a violent history, somebody that may have a criminal history, I think that landlords need to have background checks done on them, just like they do background checks on their tenants. Because I don't have no criminal history at all. But some of these landlords, they can go out and buy houses and have a criminal history, be total psychopaths. So, and when I was younger, at the time, my mom, she kept telling me, buy a house. She was like, you know what? I'm going to smack you, girl. she My mom kept bugging me. She said, why won't you buy a house? And I would say, well, mama, I don't know if I want to stay here. And she said, it don't make you build your equity. Why in the world? I was young, and I think I was under the influence of my daddy, and she kind of, cause, and yeah, I ain't even gonna talk about it. Yeah, that's sick though. That is very, very sick. I just, and I think that when people, being a landlord does put you in a position of power, but when you abuse your power, you can get that work. Hmm. Don't abuse your power over your tenants, and don't abuse your power over people that it just seemed like a lot of evil people are just doing a lot of evil stuff. They really, really are, it's just really sad. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, do work on them, Roselle. Do work on them. Absolutely. I don't blame you. Because they will try to hire these demonic attorneys and stuff, and they will do things to make your family sick. And they'll do things to try to harm you, and then try to throw you out in the streets broke, and then even try to steal all your shit. So a lot of these landlords think that they slick when it comes to that, and they try to use the system to harm people. But in reality, you need to keep your house up to code. You need to take care of things. You can affect your tenants that way. Yeah. And so that they don't understand why the courts support the tenants. They can't stand that, and it just, it's sad. Yeah. Yeah, they'll hire these demonic attorneys. I'm not saying that all attorneys are demonic, but some of them are. I've seen the behaviors. Yeah. It's terrible when people have some kind of power and it becomes corrupted, and the next thing you know, they're just taking advantage of everybody. And it's really sad, the world that we live in. It really is. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's a trip. I can tell you that much. Um, so anyway, protect yourselves and everything, especially, but it doesn't help, when you have these men that are doing things, I've had nothing but men in social media trying to tear down my company, basically getting these women to attack me. I'm totally disgusted by the whole thing. And so is spirit. And for some reason they seem to think that they want I honestly, I don't there's no deity that supports that. They're not, they're fooling themselves. They try to act like that their deities back them up. No, they don't. Nobody backs you up, you know. So we got a lot of that going on. So anyway. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna get out of here. Men do better. Change. Change. That's all you gotta do is change before it's too late, And if you can't change, stay the hell away from women and children. Stay away from us. And I'm real careful. Just to let y'all know, in my practice, I don't do deviant spells on women for men. No, no, no. I ain't gonna do it. I don't do stuff like that because I heard it through the grapevine that there's a practitioner that was offering curses to men for women that left them to make their life go downhill so that they would have no choice but to come back to them. Really? Really? I said, give me that man's page, please. Give me his page so I can go holler at him for a second. I didn't say nothing to him, but it's sick. It really is. And I'll be back way later on this evening. We're going to talk a little bit about 11/11. God knows that I don't really like discussing these things publicly, but we're going to talk about 11/11 and how it's going to connect to the solstices and basically a new and improved system that I am going to be doing. And I'm so excited to talk to you guys about that. Yeah. Mm, 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 mm. Wait a minute. Practitioner on here, a male practitioner, said that he did work for a woman who wanted a man back and he wanted the new woman out of the way. Wait a minute, what? Like he wanted the new woman out of the way. He did the work and then the new one what? Died or something? Mm, okay. She wanted the new woman out of the way. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Um I wouldn't go to a practitioner that does too much stuff like that because you just never know what negative energies they got. The woman died of cancer. Interesting. Mm-mm-mm. That's sad. Wow. Mm-mm-mm. That is terrible. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go. I'll be back way later on this evening. I will see y'all later. Let's do better. Okay? As a society, let's do better. I'll see y'all later. Thank you for coming, Rozelle Tillwater. Thank you. All right, guys. Y'all have a good day. Blessings. Bye.